Hello everyone and good afternoon. This is Rose Jacobs live from the Kalkine studio and you're watching The Early Trades, a show where we share with you a glimpse of the Australian share market opening trade scenario along with the global and domestic drivers triggering the market momentum. So getting straight into it, the Australian share market has advanced in the opening minutes of trade, supported by strong gains from real estate and mining stocks. The S&P and ASX 200 added 0.9% or 68.5 points to 7,392.8. AMP jumped 4.7% to $1.12 after announcing the divestment of its equity interest in Resolution Life Australasia. Goodman Group climbed a further 2.5% to $24.07 following the company's upgrade of its earnings guidance yesterday. The iron ore miners rose despite a sharp fall in the price of the bulk commodity. Fortescue added 2.7% to $14.32. Champion Iron firmed 2.6% to $4.35 and Mineral Resources jumped 3.2% to $38.81. Telstra was 0.5% higher at $3.92 after renewing a contract with the Department of Defence. Orocobre led the market, climbing 5.9% to $9.63, while fellow lithium miner Pilbara Minerals rose 4.1% to $2.30. AGM season rolls on with meetings today for shareholders in Domino's Pizza, Worley and Cedarwood Properties. IPOs had another double header today. Austral Resources at 12 p.m. is a copper producer based in the Queensland Gulf country. C29 Metals at 1 p.m. is a copper explorer with projects in New South Wales, South Australia and Western Australia. Now let's look at some of the newsmakers from the morning trade. Telstra has renewed its contract with the Australian Department of Defence, signing a 5-year deal worth over $1 billion to provide the department with leading-edge technology and telco solutions. The agreement will deliver increased wireless coverage through a Wi-Fi 6 rollout program and the introduction of Telstra's 5G mobile network capability for defence personnel. The contract includes the option for the department to extend the contract for 1 or more periods of up to 3 years. It is the largest ever customer contract of its kind signed by Telstra Enterprise. The world's biggest consumer packaging company Amcor has temporarily cut back supplies to some of its lower margin customers after raw material shortages in specialist resins, PET plastic and aluminium constrained its own output in the September quarter. Chief Executive Ron Delia said Amcor had been forced to make some hard choices as it grappled with the raw materials shortages, which he said should right themselves by the second half of 2021 and 2022. Apollo Global Management, Blackstone and their rivals handed back US $45 billion to investors last quarter as they reported record earnings in a hot market for deals. Rising markets fueled the industry's frenzied pace. Exits by private equity in the US reached a record US $638 billion this year through September, according to data from PitchBook. And firms including Carlyle Group and KKR and Co are rapidly spending current funds as they prepare to return to the market with bigger buyout pools. CIMIC-backed Thiess secured a 3-year $220 million contract renewal to continue providing mining services at PT Wahana Baratama's mining coal mine in South Kalimantan in Indonesia. Thiess will provide full mining services for Wahana, which is owned by Bayan Resources, including mine planning, environmental and water management, drill and blast, and mining and pit hauling services. The contract renewal commences from November 2021. BHP has commenced discussions with Wyloo Metals regarding its potential support of BHP's 75 offer to acquire Nuances Resources. To allow more time for discussions to progress, BHP has extended the initial expiry of its offer from 11:59 p.m. Toronto time on November 9 to 7 p.m. Toronto time on November 16. BHP said the earliest time it will be taking up Nuances shares under its bid will be at the new expiry time. Moving on to other interesting news from this morning, and New Zealand's unemployment rate fell to its lowest level in almost 14 years in the third quarter as unemployment surged, sending the currency higher as traders boosted bets on the interest rate increases. The jobless rate dropped to 3.4% from 4% in the second quarter, the lowest rate since the fourth quarter of 2007, and matching the lowest on record. Statistics New Zealand data showed Wednesday in Wellington. Economists expected 3.9%. Employment jumped 2% from the previous 3 months versus expectations of a 0.4% gain. Workers are in demand as New Zealand's closed border cuts the supply of imported labour, boosting wages and adding to inflation pressures that have already prompted the central bank to begin raising interest rates. That's despite a COVID-19 outbreak in Auckland, keeping the country's largest city in lockdown since mid-August, denting economic growth. Well, that's all for the reports on early morning trades, but stay tuned to Kalkine TV as we have many more shows lined up for you throughout the afternoon, sharing live updates across the economy, markets and sectors. I'm Rose Jacobs, signing off.